This is John. He's lying in bed in the middle of the night and he cannot sleep. He has to get up early in the morning and he wants to be sharp and well rested because he has an important job interview. He's fully aware of the fact that lack of sleep makes us underperform, so he really wants to fall asleep now. But the harder he tries, the more difficult it becomes. The more he thinks of how important it is to get a good night's rest, the more awake he becomes. And so the clock keeps ticking. And then when he realizes that damn, it's 2 o'clock in the morning already, he goes, oh man, I blew it. I'm not getting any sleep tonight. I give up. I'll just stay awake then. And guess what? That's right. Now he falls asleep. Well, guys, he just stumbled onto something called the law of reversed effort. Like the famous philosopher Alan Watts says, when you try to stay on the surface of the water, you sink. But when you relax and try to sink, you float, unquote. Yes, it's an interesting phenomenon, and the funny thing here is that this tends to happen with almost everything in life. If you have low self-esteem and you go out chasing girls, but you are very needy and desperately try to get validation from them, it almost never works. The harder you try to do that, the less interested they are. But if you just go out trying to have fun, well, then things can start to happen. And believe it or not, but this phenomenon does apply with long-term goals as well. The more desperate you are for a specific outcome, the harder it can actually be to achieve it. Now, pull the brakes here, because here is where so many people go wrong. You see, once they discover that there is such a phenomenon out there, they go, oh cool, so the secret is to just stop trying then. And yes, in many cases that really works, like for example with the guy who couldn't sleep. But when it comes to more long-term goals that are more complex, if you just stop putting in effort, there's no way in hell you're going to achieve them. This is Scott, and he's struggling to get his business working. He's afraid of failing, and he just discovered the law of reversed effort. And so he goes, okay, since I'm afraid of not getting any results, I'll just simply stop putting in the work and the results will come. No. Fail. Obviously that's not going to work either, but he was actually on to something there. He was halfway there. And here comes the secret. And I'm being serious now because it actually feels like I'm telling you a secret. Listen to these words very carefully. You take full responsibility for your effort and engagement, but not for the outcome. Yeah, so in other words, if you want to have success with girls, you cannot just go, okay, so I should just give up and the girls will come to me. And so you continue to stay inside your house, you keep jacking off to adult sites, and you keep being a 40-pound overweight loser without a job. No, you should still put in effort to give up the adult sites, to get in decent shape, and then also put yourself out there. In other words, go hard with the engagement, but you should then simultaneously let go of the outcome. I'm telling you guys, once you learn how to balance between these two, this is when you start skyrocketing forward in life. If you remember only one thing from this video, make sure it's the following words. You want to be the most engaged, yet least attached. Have any of you ever wondered over the Alcohol Recovery 12-step program, where one of the steps is something like admit that you are powerless over the alcohol? Now, how come that works for some and not for others? Well, that's right, because some people then obviously go, oh, so if I'm totally powerless, I might as well keep drinking then. So that was a complete fail. But then there are others who keep putting in the work, but they let go of the outcome and they stop worrying so much about what if I relapse, and so for them it then actually works. So in my opinion then, this step is not good. It has some value in it, sure, but it's only half of the secret, because it only addresses the attachment part. Also, they shouldn't use the word powerless, because that can completely demoralize people. But you get my point. The reason it can still work for some is that they get lucky and happen to then find the right balance between putting in the work and the letting go part. So, how does this apply to nofap and quitting porn then? Am I saying you should just give up? No. But it does apply in several ways. For example, if you are afraid of your urges and you resist them, then you are actually more likely to relapse. Let the urges come and then just notice them without judgment. Surf on them and they will go away after a while. Or if you are staring yourself blind on the day counter to the point of you starting to obsess about the numbers, well, then you could also start making it harder for you than necessary. Now, that's not to say there's anything wrong with counting days. It's how you do it. I hope you get that. Don't obsess. So do all the hard work. Put in the effort, but don't obsess over the results. And guess what? The irony of that is that then the universe is more likely to actually give you those results. Lastly, as overcoming a PMO addiction can be a bit tricky, if you find yourself struggling and failing again and again, then perhaps consider getting some help. You can, for example, reach out to me for a one-on-one coaching session, but I'm not just saying that to promote myself here. No, you can just as well seek out some local therapist in your area or find some other help. But if you have been trying for more than 6 months and you keep relapsing, you should really consider doing something with someone, because unfortunately addiction is progressive, meaning it tends to get worse over time. If you need help, then there is also the possibility of doing an online course at your own pace. In order to know what courses I should recommend, I have been checking out a special system, and I really have to say it produces phenomenal results. This is a course using something called habit construction therapy, which is a powerful thing, especially when it comes to quitting addiction to adult sites. And that, in combination with the fact that the course is created by a licensed therapist who has personal experiences with having to overcome his own addiction to adult sites, well, this makes the system work extremely well. It's quite unique, really. So if that's something that could be of interest to you, then I recommend you sign up to a free webinar where Josh Hudson tells you more about the principles behind this method, and then you can decide what to do from there. You can find a link to that webinar right under this video. Just click the link where it says webinar and it'll take you there. I will also include a link to my own coaching down there if you'd rather get coached by me, or then don't do anything with either of us, but do something with someone, because life is too short to waste it on addiction to adult sites. This is Scandinavian Bob signing out for today, and as always, I wish you all the best in your journey to become the strongest version of yourself. And remember, as Winston Churchill used to say, if you are going through hell, keep going.